Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and getting some biking in, making the most out of this very different National Bike Month. I'm Bill Nesper, the Executive Director of the League of American Bicyclists, and really appreciate all of you being here with us today and this opportunity to continue to work with you and ride with you through this together, even if on GoToWebinars and in our homes and online and on solo rides. I just want to say your hashtag Bikes Unite posts on social media have been really amazing to see. So please keep them coming. Thanks to all of you who were able to join us on either the last two of these virtual 2020 Advocacy and Education Award ceremonies that are happening each Thursday afternoon in May. As you know, at a typical National Bike Summit, we would be together at the annual awards dinner here in Washington, D.C., celebrating and recognizing the incredible people and organizations in our movement that are working to make bicycling safe, comfortable, and accessible to all. These people and organizations take bold action for better bicycling, lead on equity and inclusion, and inspire us to do more. It's been a bit difficult to fully express our gratitude in this format, but we've been getting it, and so GoToWebinar allows us to unmute people. So right now everybody is muted. At the time after we give each award, I'm going to unmute everybody, and please show your appreciation through your cheers and applause. And each awardee after that will have time to give remarks and also take a few questions from you. Please ask your questions by typing them into the questions box on your screen. Sooner is better than later. And then Kevin Deckinga, the League's Director of Membership and Development, and Amelia Neptune, who is the League's Bicycle Friendly America Director, will be moderating questions with our award winners. So the first award today is for Bike Club of the Year. Since our founding, the League has been an organization of organizations, and bicycle clubs are a vital part of introducing people to cycling, sharing the love of this lifelong activity, and giving us an opportunity to ride together. This award is for a bike club that has done an excellent job of providing a great experience for its members and people who are new to bicycling. The goal of this award is to recognize clubs that do an exceptional job at integrating advocacy into club activities and supporting advocacy organizations while creating great events for new and experienced bicyclists alike. This award is about recognizing clubs that are inclusive, welcoming, and committed to growing bicycling. And our 2020 award goes to Black Girls Do Bike. Black Girls Do Bike started with Monica Garrison's determination to get more Black women biking. Monica believes that the simple act of riding a bike can be a catalyst for the wonderful and empowering experiences for women of all ages. After a summer of rediscovering her affection for cycling, she set out to find other women with a passion for riding bikes. What started as a simple idea to connect women through biking has turned into a movement of inclusive riding groups all over the country. There are now 74 chapters around the globe. 99, and I'd say that Nominators to this also noted, Nominators noted that the club's commitment to diversity, inclusivity, heart health, and being a welcoming organization, a quote, welcoming organization across the country for women wanting to get into cycling is so inspiring. You can find Black Girls Do Bike members participating in everything from track racing, mountain biking, cyclocross, bike touring, and social riding. So if everybody will join me here, and I'm going to unmute you in applauding Monica and Black Girls Do Bike.
Woo!
Way to go!
Yeah!
Woo!
Awesome. All right, I just muted everybody, and Monica, now you have to unmute yourself and ready to go. There you go. So please take it away.
Unmuted, right?
Awesome. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. So first, I'd like to thank the League, of course, for the Club of the Year award and the recognition that comes with it. Of course, I have to accept the award on behalf of not just me, but also our lady leaders around the country, of which we have, at last count, 140 of them. And obviously the thousands of women who join our rides every month and who participate in our workshops each month, because they are the lifeblood of Black Girls Do Bike. And our sheroes, which is what we call our lady leaders, have been really laser focused and have put the work in to give us a really nice solid foundation to grow Black Girls Do Bike. And I just realized that we passed our 7-year mark, our 7-year anniversary this year, which really seems unreal to me. But really, because just 7 years ago, I was just kind of rediscovering cycling. And if you would have told me that Black Girls Do Bike would be where we are now, I definitely would not have believed it. But as the years have passed, we've grown close to 85 chapters. We've created a path for women of color to not only become cyclists, but also become advocates. We brought ladies together for several national meetups in various cities. We've been able to partner with great brands, as you mentioned, like Trek and REI. And I hope that we gain the reputation as being change makers in the cycling community, because that's the goal. And most importantly, I think we've helped create a shift in the cycling community as to what a cyclist actually looks like. And I do believe that because we exist, there are more women of color on bikes. And I don't think anyone will argue that that is a bad thing. So I just want to say again, obviously, thank you. And kind of as we move forward and as the times we're in are uncertain, I think our club, but also lots of other clubs, are really in a position to kind of pivot in a positive way, because people are, looking for ways to spend quality time with their families. People are looking to lose that 10 pounds they gained during the shelter-in-place orders. They're looking for the outdoors as a safe space as opposed to being indoors now. So I think cycling is really going to take off. And so again, we're honored to get the award, and we look forward to the rest of the year and 2021 as well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. And Kevin, I think, has some questions for you.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm Kevin Deckinga, Director of Membership and Development with the League. Yeah, I've got a few questions for you, Monica. Thanks so much for being here and for accepting this award. Everyone that's on the call, if you have additional questions, please ask them in the questions box, and I'll try and relay a few. We may not get to all of them, but I'm sure there's some good questions out of that. Black Girls Do Bike now boasts more than 85 chapters nationwide, 140 lady leaders started, and how has the organization changed as it's grown?
So the short version of the story is 2013 is when I started to ride my bike again after a long hiatus, and it had a lot of positive effects on not only me, but also my family. And so that was the birth of the idea to connect other women of color who enjoyed cycling, because I didn't obviously run into too many in my travels. And the organization has changed in lots of ways, but I think early on it was kind of a proof of concept. It was like, is there a need for this? Is there a community of women that need to be connected? And now I'd like to think that we're at a place where we've established that there was a need. We've hopefully filled that need, and now we're growing into something even bigger and better.
Yeah, how many people do you estimate that you reach?
That's hard. That's a hard number to come up with.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you physically count how many women are in our groups, we're just over 25,000, which is staggering to me. So that's the number that I use. But I'm sure we touch many more lives, which, yeah, that's the warm and fuzzy part of it.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
In our shelter in place time of COVID-19, we're all kind of getting used to the idea of a virtual ride, but you've been hosting them for years. Any tips for
us? Probably that planning is everything. I know if you're gonna give out physical medals, then you've got to prepare in advance for that. You've got to estimate how much participation you're going to get. But probably at the heart of a virtual ride is actually creating a why. So giving people a reason why they want to participate in such an event. And if you can create an inspiring or something that stirs them from, from the gut to participate, then you should have a successful event.
Great. Do you have any advice for women out there looking for other women to ride with or thinking about starting their own chapter? How do they get started going and get those first rides started?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's just you riding. Again, depending on how large your circle of friends are and how many of them are interested in cycling. But I would say to participate in local cycling events. And since our focus is women of color, look for other women of color at those events. There usually are one or two, and make that connection and see if you guys have a shared interest in sparking that in other people. And then also look close to home. So it might be your children, it might be your aunt, your mother, it might be your coworkers. So tap those people and see if you can get them excited about the concept of riding.
Yeah. At a time when many clubs have been having a hard time engaging new members, your chapters are still growing. What advice do you have for bike clubs struggling to find more riders?
I guess to meet riders where they are, and I've said this before, but it could be the skill level they're entering cycling at. It could be where they ride. It could be the communities that they're in. So the riders are out there. I think in my mind, everyone is potentially a cyclist. They just have to have that spark created within them, or nurtured is probably a better word. And so if you are motivated, right, if you're excited and you start to spread that excitement to others, then generally it will catch on.
Yeah, awesome. And what sort of advocacy initiatives are chapters involved in? I'm sure they're all different and they're all doing different things, but if you could highlight something for us, we'd love to hear it.
I know a lot of chapters are looking to, because our name is Black Girls Do Bike, but we really focus on women. Of course, we hope women bring along their daughters, but a lot of chapters have found that they can help young people to get into riding. And they're attacking it as an education piece. So they're teaching young riders how to ride safely, how to be responsible with, checking their bikes and making sure they're well maintained and in order for a successful ride. So there are several groups. I know we have our Rochester chapter, and also ladies out of our Cleveland chapter who are looking to specifically start initiatives for young people and hopefully transition them into adults that ride.
Yeah, so fostering young riders and making leaders out of everyday cyclists. It brings me to my next question is, how's the Lady Leaders Initiative going? And can you tell me about what that looks like?
Hopefully you didn't hear that. That's going well. Yeah, my phone just went off. That's going well. Our lady leaders are expanding. Their ranks are growing, and probably the most important thing is I feel like they're having an effect on local initiatives to change how their streets are set up and to change who's riding bikes and to acknowledge who cyclists actually are in their area. So I think overall it's been successful. We've had interesting thing we run into is turnover with Shiro. So life gets in the way, and sometimes you can only be a Shiro for a season, but you may still have that burning desire to help others and to lead. And so we find that transitioning is kind of tricky, but there's always someone there who wants to kind of take up the baton and run the next part of the race. So that's been heartwarming actually to see. When folks have to step away, we have people move in who can help.
And what are the expectations of those people?
I mean, the bare minimum is that they are initiating at least a monthly ride and that ride is inviting to all skill levels. And then in addition to that, they've got, some duties on our Facebook groups, because each chapter has a Facebook page. So they're moderating the Facebook page. And then they're also connecting locally with bike clubs and bike ped organizations and bike shops, and just making, networking essentially, so that they can bring more positive things to the chapter, more opportunities to the chapters.
Excellent. So you had scheduled the national meetup for Black Girls Do Bike to take place in Chicago at Bike the Drive. It was supposed to be this Sunday. I'm sure everyone on the call has a story of a ride or a race that was canceled, and it's hard to get over. Where do you go from here? And what's your favorite organized ride? You seem to do a lot of organized rides.
Yeah, so Chicago was our keystone event this year, and everyone was looking forward to it. And we're still kind of sore from the fact that last weekend passed and we weren't there. But we're looking forward. So we're considering what city we're gonna take over next year. We potentially have a commitment from the Jamaica Reggae Ride to make our national event actually an international event next year.
Is that exclusive for here?
Yeah. So knock on wood, the stars align and that becomes a reality, because I think that would be just mind blowing. So that's what we're looking forward to in the next 6 to 12 months. And then my favorite ride, that's tough. I've been to many. I think I'm always encouraged by the rides like the One Love ride in Atlanta and the Seagull Century in Maryland, where people of color are able to come together. Obviously, the rides are open to everyone, but there seems to be a really nice following of people of color who show up at those rides, and those are always amazing to see. And then I'm a big fan of the 5-Borough Bike Tour, because my heart's in New York. I love New York City. And that ride is when it's not rained out, is an amazing ride. So
I was there last year.
Yeah, right. So that's probably my favorite. I think just because you can't beat 40 miles of New York City streets without traffic. Like, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, it doesn't. I saw in an interview recently that you were hoping to do the Gap Trail from Pittsburgh to DC with your kids last summer. I'm hoping to do it this summer yet. Any advice? And did you do it?
So no, I didn't do it.
Oh.
My hopes did not become a reality. I have rescheduled it for this year. I'm shooting for September.
Okay.
May or may not be with the kids. I think I've reconsidered that as an idea. But it's on my list.
We won't get into that.
Yeah, we won't. It's still on my list as like something that I need to accomplish as a human being, and that will be probably the next tour that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you wish more people knew about Black Girls Do Bike?
The first thing that comes to mind is that anyone can ride with us. We do exclude the male riders only because we want to keep it like a safe space where we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. But that women of all ethnicities ride with us currently, and we encourage it. So that's often a misconception. And also that, like I said earlier, that hopefully we're changing what a cyclist looks like in the minds of people. And so when you think of a cyclist, I think our following has proven that the community is diverse and can be welcoming, and hopefully that's what we accomplish.
Nice. And how would you like to see the bike movement change in the coming years?
I think
it's a broad question.
It is a very broad question, but I think a little more certainty around funding and building infrastructure into cities that are already, you know, laid out, and making changes in such a way that accommodations are made for everyone. And we throw the term livable around a lot when we talk about cities, but I do believe that cities should be livable for everyone. And so that means people with cars, but that also means pedestrians, that also means cyclists. So I think that's where the focus should be. That's where what I feel is most important, because I talk about it a lot. I want my kids to be able to ride their bikes to school, and I want to be okay with that and feel safe with that. So if that happens, then I'd be the happiest person in the world.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, a few questions on the chat box, mostly statements that you rock, and yep, you rock, and lady leaders rock. To join, how many are brand new to biking, and versus women who race or ride regularly for fitness?
Yeah, I don't know if I can quantify that, but I would say a huge portion of our new members are new to cycling. And when I say new to cycling, I mean they haven't ridden in years, or they ride, you know, casually is probably the best term. And so they're looking to ride more, and they're looking to ride with, you know, people who are going to inspire them to ride more. So I'd say the bulk of our folks are new riders.
Are you anticipating like an uptick in interest? Like once we can actually start having rides and events again, there's so many people buying bikes for the first time or just getting into it after many years away. Yeah, I wonder what it's gonna look like next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know here in Pittsburgh, where I am, it took a little nudging, but we finally got the mayor and the city to come on board with like shutting down large areas to bikes and pedestrians that weren't shut down before. And prior to the, you know, COVID-19, that only happened for our open streets events 3 or 4 times a year. And but it's sort of like open streets. Once you experience it, you're like, oh, why can't it be like this all the time, right? So I hope that because of COVID-19, because we're closing down areas that wouldn't otherwise be closed down to car traffic, people will become used to it, and then they'll expect it and want it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. I hope that this is going to have a positive effect on people's attitudes toward cycling.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say before we kick it back over to Bill?
No, just again, thank you, and honored to be here, and we're huge fans of the league. So looking forward to Bike Summit next year with real people. And
yeah, us too. Thanks again for being here. Congratulations. It looks like Bill is hopping on. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, we are huge fans, and thanks for all of your answers, and thanks for your awesome work, and so happy that you got this award. Thanks for inspiring us, and as you say, like nurturing that love of cycling in so many. It means a lot, and yeah, we're excited to be riding with you. Next up is Advocacy Organization of the Year. So this award goes to bicycling and or walking advocacy organizations that have made significant progress in the last year. Their leaders have worked tirelessly together to grow and strengthen their organization and fulfill its mission. The proof of their efforts is in the growth in their capacity, programs, membership, and victories that they have achieved for biking and walking in their state or community. This award is about recognizing organizations that are inclusive, welcoming, and committed to growing bicycling. Something new this year, as an addition, is the cash prize of $1,000 to the winning organization. Thanks to our longtime supporter, league supporter, and life member John Graff, we've created the John Graff Prize, which enables us to give this prize to advocacy organizations to help build on their success and increase their capacity to make biking better for everyone in their community. And this year, our 2020 award goes to Asheville on Bikes. I'll let you all applaud in a minute. Nominators mention that many initiatives undertaken by Asheville on Bikes and documented several advocacy wins, but one longtime Asheville resident and volunteer noted a particular program that stood out. Quote, finally, in an initiative that is near and dear to my heart, Asheville on Bikes is making a huge difference in creating a culture of bicycling for all members of our community. I don't have time here to detail the disparity issues in our community, but I'll just say this. Through the Bike Club program, Asheville on Bikes is ensuring that all kids, regardless of race, income, or where they live, can explore their city by bike. Mike Sule is the founder and executive director of Asheville on Bikes. He is best known for his voice. He does not sing, at least we haven't heard any yet. He does, however, have lungs to call out to the front of the pack at any point of a long downhill. And if you've dined outside in West Asheville, you probably heard someone laughing in the distance and thought, well, that guy sounds like he's having fun. That was Mike in his yard. Mike first started having fun by combining an early career as a teacher with summers off spent bike touring. That led him to notice the many ways our streets fail us as pedestrians, as bicycle riders, and people. He gathered a small group of like-minded riders and started Asheville on Bikes, pushing for many programs and changes within Asheville. In his time leading Asheville on Bikes, Mike's voice has already reached far into the future. With the help of the board, many volunteers and donors, Asheville on Bikes has implemented an after-school bicycle program, launched the city's first tactical urbanism project, coordinated candidate forums and public outreach, and continues to host a variety of cycle-centric events, each with its own unique flavor. Everyone, please join me in showing your appreciation for Asheville on Bikes. I'm gonna unmute you now. Yeah. Mike, you're sharing your, I think you're sharing your.
I'm Mike.
Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations. There you go, Mike. Woo, Asheville on Bikes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna mute you now, and Mike, I'm gonna give this back over to you so you can unmute yourself and share, not your screen unless you have a presentation, but share your webcam. Okay, I unmuted you.
All right.
Yep. But
You got
we're
my
seeing
webcam?
your screen, but we don't get to see your face. We need to see your face. So you got
I
to
know.
get
I don't understand why it won't. I apologize. I don't know why it's not there. How's that?
Yeah. You don't have
All
to
right.
sing, but we have to see your face. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. And it is a real honor to receive this award on behalf of Asheville on Bikes and to be acknowledged for our work at the national level. I want to thank everyone at the league, the staff, the board, all of the members, the LCIs, all who work in service of safer cycling for all people. So thank you all for your dedication to a better cycling United States. It's an honor to be recognized for all the. It's an honor to be recognized by all the hard working people that make up the league. So thank you very much. Asheville on Bikes is a people first movement. We believe that all people have the right to move safely by a variety of modes. Our streets are the public realm and they should be allocated for all people. And it's been a long slog rolling the mission forward, but it's great to arrive here where we are today. And I look forward to continuing to roll cycling forward in Asheville. I want to thank our current board members and our past board members for their leadership, their dedication to refining the organization. I want to thank our dedicated committee members, our youth cycling instructors, and all of the volunteers that show up time and time again for over a decade and have devoted themselves to Asheville on Bikes. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, and I'm excited to welcome new participants into the organization as well. So thank you all for your continued investment of time and talent, and let's continue to work together and roll our city forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Now we have some questions. I think Amelia Neptuno, Director of the Bicycle Friendly America Program, is going to join me here. All right.
Yeah,
Amelia, over to you.
Great, thanks. And Mike, we can still see your screen. I don't know if you are able to turn that off, but just so you know.
There's probably a button somewhere.
Yeah, there should be a button sort of under the camera.
How's
There you
that?
go. Perfect,
Okay.
thanks. Nice. People want to see you even bigger, so. All right, well, again, congratulations on this award and on so much amazing work. We're really excited to honor you and congratulate you today. I also wanted to start with a little bit about your origin story. I read on the website, I didn't know this until today, that you all started with seed money from a cash prize of a costume ride back in 2006, which I thought was just really great. And I wanted to know if you could tell us a little more about sort of the origin story of Asheville on Bikes. I'm sure the idea was there long before that seed money. But tell us a little bit more about how it got started and then also over the years, how that evolved into a formal 501c3.
Yeah, I'll be happy to share the story. In 2003, my background is in education. I was a school teacher. And I took a part of that summer. I used to paint houses in the summer. And I opted to go visit my buddy in New York City. And it was there that we spent a tremendous amount of time just riding around Manhattan. And it was really my first experience with like urban riding and this idea of sort of commuting. And then on a sort of a whim, we opted to ride from New York down to the coast of Jersey to my parents' house. And on that overnight, I had so much fun that I thought about my life in Asheville, and I was like, I want to go back. I want to sell my car. I want to buy a bicycle, and I want to see if I can ride for a year. What that would be like. My thinking was if I hate it, I can always get another cars, right? I can replace that. And so I didn't replace it. I found a lot of new friends just from hanging out at the bike shop, and got into sort of the Asheville cycling thing. And then I also really noticed like a lot of disparities with our transportation infrastructure. I had the benefit of being able to get a bicycle, being in a community, being able to afford bicycle lights and fenders and panniers and all of that, stuff. There were a lot of people that didn't have access to the things that I had. And it really made me want to start working towards creating a better Asheville. The first opportunity came about with the Asheville Holiday Parade, and I actually just pulled this. This is the first Asheville on Bikes poster. Nice. And we made these little flyers, and we got a group of people together in to do costumes. The theme of the parade was every day is a holiday, or no, what was it? Holidays in the mountains. And our theme was every day is a holiday on a bicycle. And people showed up that morning on their bikes, and we had some costumes for them, and everyone picked a holiday. I was the Thanksgiving turkey. And we ended up winning like the $250 that became the seed money. And right off the bat, fortunately, we were able to organize something that had fun and frolic and was definitely accessible to people. It wasn't necessarily like the high-end cyclist. Maybe we appealed more to someone who wanted to wear a costume in the holiday parade and also had a bicycle. So it was sort of meeting people at that at the point of entry. And there was just so many needs in the city that I started in my free time attending meetings, and I kept organizing fun, festive rides as well. And just over time, the needs of the city, the social capital that we were creating with Asheville on Bikes had to be invested into the political system as a mechanism for change. So I just started surrounding myself with really smart people who knew a lot more about specific things than I did, and tapped their talents and investment of time into the organization. And we just incrementally grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
Nice. And what advice do you have for other groups that are currently sort of in that informal early stage and looking to become, you know, a 501c3 or an organization with paid staff? What advice do you have for those in similar early stages?
Yeah, so do some longer range planning. Plan out a year, plan 6 months, then plan a year, then plan 3 months, or a year. Also, look at your assets, your people power around you. Think about who you have and what they're capable of, and then also make an assessment about what you don't have and what you will need. Do a scan of your organization, and then the other piece is don't reinvent the wheel. There are, I mean, the League is a great resource for this. There are lots of advocacy organizations who have already done a lot of the foundational hard work. There are lessons to be learned. I would gladly share, and I would be so happy not to see other organizations make the same mistakes that I did. You don't have to learn the hard way. And really tap into the resources around you at the local level. It took me a while in my beginning to realize that I wasn't really creating something, but I was part of a history, and that there were people in the community who had been doing the hard work well before me. Claudia Nix, the Nix family, Mike and Claudia Nix, and the Blue Ridge Bicycle Club, and tapping into the wealth of their experience has been critical.
Excellent. And I just have to say, I'm glad we saw your kid, because I can hear my kids in the background. So if you're screaming in the background. I want to get a little bit into some of your great programming. The Tactical Urbanism project that you all had in the Street Tweaks program. Can you share a little bit about how that got started, how your partners came together? AARP is one of them. You've got these interesting, local partners. How did that come to be? And then also, can you share a little bit about how that project has been going more recently, especially as, with COVID, so many things are changing and how people are getting around?
Yes, let's see, how did that happen? Well, I was a big fan. I really enjoyed the concept of tactical urbanism, and I thought Asheville on Bikes was well equipped to do a project. We have passionate volunteers. The idea of quick build, working in the public right of way. There's a great need for that in Asheville. And I was looking into it on the side. I'd follow, Mike Lydon and Tony Garcia. And really what happened was we had a family, Claudia Nix of the Blue Ridge Bicycle Club, call Claudia and I into a meeting, and they said, we've watched you all work. We think you're working. We'd like to see you work more together. You do a lot of things with very little. So we would like to fund a project. What would you like to do? And I had just happened to have in my bag Lydon's book and examples of tactical urbanism. I was coming from a meeting, the policy committee meeting, and I just put it on the table. And it was like, okay, you're funded. And that's really how it happened. And from there, I started thinking like, oh man, now I really got to do this. And in just reaching out and talking through the community, Blue Ridge Bicycle Club was on board. My board was on board with it, and AARP was is funding a lot of these livable cities initiatives as well. And that was a really great fit, and we're still partners with AARP, and we're about to launch our second project. And the idea, it really fits with that 8 to 80. If you make it work for an 8-year-old, it's going to work for an 80-year-old. And if you make it work for a pedestrian, you're going to make it work for a cyclist. So it's really, it was an opportunity to express that this is not just a bike thing, this is a people first thing. And the partnership has been, incredibly valuable.
Excellent, thanks. And then I also want to hear about your work with kids. In the awards announcement, it said Asheville on Bikes is ensuring that all kids, regardless of race, income, or where they live, can explore their city by bike. Can you tell us more about the Bike Club program and how you're accomplishing that?
Yes, and I want to be critical about our organization to begin with, because our mission and our vision is that cycling is accessible to everyone, and we are not there yet. And we are in our infancy of really taking that on. Our organization does not fully reflect the diversity of our organization. And I want to be really honest and clear about that. But we are beginning to take on that challenge. And most of the founders, or actually of Asheville on Bikes, were all educators. And so we sort of come at we work from a place of, look, if you want the world to be a better place, you want to change the world, start with the youth and youth education and youth experiences. So we had the opportunity. There was a program starting at our middle school, Asheville Middle School, with another nonprofit, the Asheville City Schools Foundation, to create after-school programming. And one of the things that the students were asking when they surveyed is they wanted to do things active but were not competitive. And cycling was just a thing that they wanted to do. So the Asheville City Schools Foundation reached out to me, and I said, yeah, okay, let's do it. Had no bikes, no instructors, not a real curriculum, just addressing the need, starting from a really, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And now we have a youth cycling coordinator hired. We have 4 hired instructors. We have a fleet of bicycles, and we are looking to replicate the program and expand it. That, cycling is the stuff of childhood, and children should be playing in the streets, and they need bicycles, and they need lights, and they need some instruction on how to do it. But we're making the case that everyone deserves a day on a bicycle.
Nice, thanks. And I appreciate that introduction to that too. So then finally, as a project that I know you really well through, is your work with the Bicycle Friendly Business Program. And I wanted to touch a little bit about your work in general with businesses in Asheville, and sort of how that came about, how that's going, and specifically New Belgium. We know New Belgium is a major bolster to the bike movement in general, and since they moved into Asheville, to your work there. And in fact, we have some New Belgium folks on the call today. Before you answer, I just want to read a really amazing note to give people a sense of the strong relationship that Asheville on Bikes and New Belgium have. So this is from someone at New Belgium that typed it in, so I hope it's okay that I read this out loud. But Mike, please know that those of us who live in Asheville appreciate you and Asheville on Bikes mission on the daily. Your efforts and passion not only continue to transform, evolve our city, it helped bring our business and jobs to the city we now call home. Much love, AOB from New Belgium Brewing.
All right.
So I wanted you to hear that. I wanted everybody else to know how important that relationship is both ways. And then from your perspective, can you tell us a little bit about just what you've learned working with local businesses in Asheville and how partners like New Belgium can bolster advocacy work in other communities?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that we like to say at Asheville on Bikes is, you know, we're all in this together, and we need to work with the community, with the business community. They are an ally, and a lot of times they don't realize that they are an ally. And it's incumbent on, I mean, New Belgium realizes that. I'm not convincing them of anything, but other businesses that, you know, cycling makes sense and dollars, and it's really incumbent on the advocates to present that value proposition to businesses, and to start to get that local business investment in safer streets for all people. Of course, New Belgium has been a huge champion of Asheville on Bikes and cycling advocacy at a national level. And it's critical to find that maybe you start off with that one champion business who invites you in and allows you to, you know, end your ride there. You know, when you're doing an event or rides are ending at a business, whether it's a coffee shop or a bar or a sandwich shop, whatever it is, build a relationship with the management and the owners and start presenting your value proposition, the 5 people that come in the door, the 10 people that come in the door, and then from there begin to build a coalition, share the love, get in with business associations, show up and make the case for cycling, and make it the case in terms of economics, in terms of you're going to do better bike business. And this place outside the parking spot, outside of your business, that generally is occupied by one vehicle, that's most often occupied by one person, give me a night, let me bring down a bike rack and let me park 15 people there. So that kind of thing. It would, you know, it's been great. And of course, having like a heavy hitter like New Belgium, that completely changed my relationship with our local Chamber of Commerce. You know, when New Belgium was sniffing around our city, all of a sudden, you know, the powers that be at the chamber were warming up to what I was presenting to the city. So you know, it's been great.
Nice. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. So we're running close to time. I do have more questions, but I'll let you sort of wrap it up by telling us what are the next big or little projects on the horizon for Asheville on Bikes?
Yeah, well, I mean, the number one thing that we're, not the number, but what a priority is to figure out how we continue to be a cycling community. We have big cycling events in COVID-19. So how do we restructure our events to keep the community intact and inspired? We just published today on our website a concept of COVID streets that was really, again, using existing models. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go check out Oakland, California. And we used a lot of what they are using to present creating an active transportation beltway around the city and having capillary feeders into it. Again, we're about to take public input on our second tactical urbanism project, and we are so excited to work with the city during COVID-19 to create commerce and people streets in the right of way, so that we have safe physical distance and our business community can emerge from the current restrictions. Hey, speaking of New Belgium, I do want to, if I can, I'm going to be really, I want to, and I also, I want to give the Asheville on Bikes official toast to everyone, and thank you all.
That's great.
All right.
Cheers.
Here we go. May the best bike rides of your past be the worst of your future. May yesterday's longest bike lane be the shortest tomorrow. Keep the fire in the belly, the love in your heart, and always put the fun between your legs. Cheers.
Cheers. That's great. All right, I'm going to welcome Bill back in case he's got any closing remarks.
Cheers. That was really inspiring. I was wishing I had New Belgium like within reach, but I will quickly go find one. Thank you so much, Mike, and for Asheville on Bikes for all your awesome work and putting people first and making that connection. And also saying that, you know, everyone deserves a day on a bike. You know, I think that is really encapsulates this. We appreciate your work and your passion. So congratulations again, and big thanks to, you know, everything that for what you're doing. Yes, and also thanks to everyone for being here today. Thanks to our award winners once again, and please join us again next Thursday. We have our final award of the month. I think Advocate of the Year is the last one. So excited to give that award out next week, and so that's next Thursday. Happy Bike Month. Keep sharing your Bikes Unite images and thoughts on social media, and thank you all for what you're doing, and thanks again for riding with the league to build a bicycle friendly America for everyone. So have a good evening, and thanks again.
Congrats, y'all. Bye.
Cheers.
Congrats.
Here's to Black Girls Do Bike and John Graff.
Yeah, that's right. You're making me thirsty. Bye, y'all.